This is Friends Forever Family Ministry. You're welcome to another edition of this ministry, the weekly programs that is normally watched on Facebook and YouTube. And I want to sincerely appreciate everyone who have been communicating, with us in the ministry. I also want to say thank you to all our supporters. Some people have pledged to be supporting the ministry. We want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you even for all the comments also. Thank you for the questions. Some people have been contacting me for counseling. I want to sincerely say thank you for all those things. And even at this time, I want to tell us, as many people that still wish to support the ministry, you are welcome. Please contact us through email or WhatsApp. The Lord bless you as you do so in Jesus' name. Amen. Today we're going to look at another topic: when I don't love who I want to marry, or who I married. When I don't love who I want to marry, or when I don't love who I married. So we have two segments, in this topic. When I don't love who I want to marry, that is when the relationship is still in courtship. Maybe the man and the woman, they are still in courtship, and then it's like there is no love. We're going to look at that one. So we're going to look at it from the relationship, the courtship side, and also the marriage. When marriage has already taken place and it's as if there is no love between the couple. We want to see what are the things necessary for this. Why is it so? Because love is inevitable in every relationship. But as inevitable as love is in all relationships, it could be so amazing that you can have some relationships that, love does not even exist. Or probably love had been there before, and then all of a sudden, the love disappears. So what are those things that make it to be so? These are the things that we want to look at today. And as we go into the program, may the Lord continue to help us. So there are some of the things that we are going to look at, which I call the love drainers. What are those things that can drain love in any relationship? What are those things that can make love to be far-fetched in a relationship? And I want to say the first one is when the person is being forced into that relationship. When somebody is being forced into the relationship. Now, when there is going to be a relationship, two people must be involved. The guy and the lady. If one of them is being forced into the relationship, there may not be love on the side of that person that is being forced. Unfortunately, one could love the other. Now let me put it this way. Maybe it is the lady that is forcing the man into that relationship. The lady could love that man, and the man may never love her. So that is one. We can find an example. Another example, in a situation whereby we have two friends. For instance, now maybe my friend and I, maybe my childhood friend or just any friend, we've been together and we love each other so much. And she has a son, I have a daughter. Or I have a son, she has a daughter. And because of the love we have for each other, we want that love to continue. To the point that we want our children to marry each other. Not considering the fact that those children may not necessarily love each other. Now, when I say love, it doesn't mean they hate each other. But they may not love each other to the point of, marriage. To the point of, or seeing it in an angle of, you are going to be my husband or I'm going to be my wife, and the stuff. But because we parents, we love each other, we want to continue our friendship, and now we want our children to come together as husband and wife. If we force them together, something may happen in the future. We may now discover that there is no love in the relationship. The children are just managing to cope. They are just managing to, to live together. And may I quickly say at this point that we parents, we need to be very, very careful when it comes to things like this. We need to be very careful, in a situation whereby we now mount it upon our son or our daughter. This is the person you must marry. Please give them chance. All we can do is to help them, guide them, spiritually, guide them prayerfully. If they need our help, yes, we can counsel them. We can tell them our ideas. We can tell them, this is how I feel about this person you say you want to marry, but not that we now lord it upon them. I say, this is the person I want you to marry. And until you marry this person, you are not going to find things so easy with me, and all those things. Please, let us try as much as possible to be careful. They are adults. I want to believe that any child that can walk up to the father or to the mother to say, I want to marry, must be an adult. A 10-year-old boy can never do that. Neither would an 8-year-old girl do that kind of a thing. And then I have another point here, the attitudes of those people in the relationship. That one can also drain love. Maybe the person is the type that gets angry easily. Could be the lady, could be the man, could be any one of them that gets angry easily. That is an attitude. Could be gluttony, could be lack of self-control, greediness, self-centeredness, carefree attitude. There are some people like that. Carefree attitude. Could even be dirtiness. Some women could be so dirty. All these things, they have a way of draining love in a relationship. When you are so dirty and each time your husband comes in, what greets him is nothing to write home about. Everywhere is anyhow. The kitchen, you can't enter. The bedroom and the toilet, they are, And the man will have to complain and complain and complain every time. Self-centeredness. And I have an example like that in the Bible, between Nabal and Abigail in 1 Samuel chapter 25 verse 3. 1 Samuel 25 verse 3, I want to read. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail. And she was a woman of good understanding and of a beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb. Can you see this kind of a combination? That is Nabal and Abigail. The Bible described the woman Abigail to be a woman of good understanding. A woman of good understanding that has a beautiful countenance. She was approachable. And that was the reason why the servants of Nabal could go to her to report what their master was doing that wasn't good. So she was approachable. She was a woman of beautiful countenance, but she married a man that was churlish in his ways. Nabal was a fool. Nabal was not as wise as Abigail was. And if you read down that place, you will discover that it's even got to a time, from the expression of Abigail, when she was talking to David about Nabal, you will notice it that I don't even think Abigail still had love for Nabal at that time. Because she said, oh, as his name is, that is just him. So all those kind of things can make love to be withdrawn in any relationship. And then another point here, that is point number 3, when you enter the relationship for a particular purpose. Not necessarily because of love, not even because God said. Not because God said, go and marry this person, or you can marry this person, not because you have even prayed. You don't even need to pray. Why? Because you have seen the reason why you must just marry that person or enter into a relationship with him or with her. And what are these reasons? The parents could be rich. The parents could be a politician. The person himself could be a politician. Could be famous. Could even be because of title. Oh, he carried title. He's very famous. Everybody knows him. Or everybody knows the father. Or everybody knows the family. And as a result of that, you want to also become a member of the family at all costs, by all means. Not necessarily because there is love. Or when there is a hidden agenda. when there is a hidden agenda, there is a purpose, there is a reason, why this relationship must just have to take place. I have another example like that also in the Bible, in 1 Samuel chapter 18. 1 Samuel 18 verse 21. 1 Samuel 18, 21, about Saul and David. And Saul said, I will give him her, that she may be a snare to him, and that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. Wherefore Saul said to David, thou shalt this day be my son-in-law in the one of the twain. All right. If you read verse 20 says, and Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David. And they told Saul, and the thing pleased him. And just because Saul heard that his daughter loved David. Remember, Saul had been after David for a while. And now he heard that his daughter was in love with David. He now said, this is an opportunity to get David at last. I am going to give him my daughter. Why? Not because I love him, but for a purpose. So that I will make her to be a snare unto David. And what did he say? He just told David, all I need is it 100 or 200 foreskins of Philistines? Just go and bring it. 100 foreskins of Philistines. That is all I need as dowry. Because he had a hidden agenda. And the daughter that loved David did not even know what was in the mind of her father. She went ahead, married David. Praise the Lord. So that is a kind of relationship, that exists because there is a hidden agenda. There is something. It is for a purpose. And that purpose must be fulfilled. And may I quickly chip in this, that it is not every time that kind of a purpose is being fulfilled. And then there is another point here that I have here. This is a family and friends interference. When family interfere in a particular relationship or friends, for instance, when they really don't like the person you claim to be in love with, there is a way they can drain love out of you, the love of that person. There's a way they can drain it out of you. How would they do that one? They just continue to talk about the person. They begin to bring out the faults of that person. Those things you never saw that, they say love is blind. And the Bible also says that love covers a multitude of sin. Okay? Now, because you are in love with that person, the love has covered everything, all the faults, all the mistakes of the person. Everything you're supposed to see, you are no longer seeing them. But the family and the friends that are so close to you, because they really don't like that person, they now begin to bring out the faults, the mistakes of the person until you begin to realize it. And then that thing you called love before suddenly turned out to be something else. Let me give us an example, a practical example of, that I witnessed. There was this brother, so many years back. He had a fiancée and he loved her so much to the point that he used to help her to wash her clothes. He would be helping that lady, to wash her clothes. And the friends of this man, they never loved the girl. So anytime they see him, all they were telling him is, what do you say you see in this lady? I will be telling you to leave her. This, and blah, blah, blah. And the man will say, leave her alone. Me, I love her, And then there was one day, he was washing his clothes and one of his friends got there. And this friend got there and said, my friend, let me help you with this clothes you are washing. And as he dipped his hand inside the bucket that the man was using to wash the clothes, the first clothes he brought out happened to be a lady's underwear. And he said, hey, finally they have used it for you. Oh, finally. Hey, they have given you vegetable to eat. So you are not only helping this lady to wash her clothes, you are even washing her undies. Oh, and all those things, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't until this relationship broke that the friends stopped making jest of this brother, you know. And in the same manner also, even in marriage, if care is not taken, in marriage, that kind of a thing can also happen. Don't be surprised that a mother-in-law can talk about her daughter-in-law, you know, in the presence of her son, until that son will stop loving that wife of his, or would even start beating her. When your husband was coming, you could not even get up to go and collect his bag. You couldn't this one. You could not do that one. You know, you are not even showing love to your husband. You are not. That is a mother-in-law. You know, talking like that. Then she will now face the son. Why is it that your wife is like this? The wife of your brother was never like this one. And the wife of your so wasn't behaving this way. And all those things that the man had never seen in that woman, his wife is now bringing them out. Or his mother rather is now bringing them out. His mother is now bringing them out, pointing his attention to it one after the other. And before you know what is happening, what had never happened in that relationship, in that marriage, now started happening. And what is that thing? The man began to fight the wife. And you are not respecting me. My mother said it. You weren't respecting me. You are not submissive. You are not this one. You are not that one. So, and then I have another point here. When whoever you get married to is of lower standard to you, maybe academically or even socially, when the person is of lower standard, maybe the man is lower, you know, by all standards, or the woman is lower by all standards, there could be complaints. Later you might discover that the love that used to be there was no longer there. The purpose for which you married him or her, you know, have been covered one kind. When you are now living together, now you can see each other very well. Every day, every night, every now, every day. Now you are seeing each other very well. And you now begin to complain. And then you now hear the man saying, why is it? You see now, it's because you didn't go to school. You see, it's because you are a dropout. It's because you have never been to the campus before. If you have been to the campus, you would have known that when you did all this one, you're supposed to put this one inside the fridge and not inside the kitchen, you know, and all those things. And the woman on the other hand will now begin to feel unloved. My husband doesn't love me. I don't know what I do for him. It is every time he complains about me. When I do this one, I don't know how to do it. When I do that one, I don't know how to do it. When I pick this one, I don't know how to pick it. And it had never been like that. That could just be the reason. And then another point, when a woman forces herself on a man, yes, when a woman forces herself on a man, the man never loved you. But because you love him, now you force yourself on him. Anything can be used by the woman. Yes, we've heard so many cases of a woman, you know, forcing themselves on a man with pregnancy. You can force yourself on a man using pregnancy. Women could be so smart. Now, or beauty. You can use any other thing, any other means. Even by showing that you care, by showing that you are so loving, by showing that all this one, blah, 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 and the man never loved you. You know it. You know this man never loved you. But you will go to his house, help him to wash, help him to do this one, help him to do that one, and that one, until the man now begin to consider you. Probably out of pity or whatever. She loves me, and let me just manage, you know, all those things. It may get to a stage, it may get to a point that problem will emerge in the future. Then there's another point here. When you enter the relationship or you marry out of pity or sheer respect, the only reason why I married the man is just because I respect him, nothing more, or I pity him. When you marry out of pity, just out of pity, not because you really love him, or probably you got pregnant for him and that pregnancy, I don't want to be giving birth all everywhere, going this one, no. Let me just stay. Number That's okay. Number 9 now, another one. When the love is one-sided, that is, when love is just on one side. Like I said, we have two parties. We have two people involved in a relationship, either in courtship or in marriage. But in this situation whereby only one of them loves the other one does not love. And I said I have an example, like that in Judges chapter 16. Judges 16 verses 4 and 5, I read. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek. They're talking about Samson here, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lies, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. Can you see something here? Delilah never loved Samson. It was Samson that loved her. A woman in love is a strong woman. If Delilah was in love with Samson, it wouldn't have been so easy for her to be bought like that by the Philistines. There was no way they would have told her, go and find out, we want to know the strength, we want to know his strength. Each of us, we are going to give you 1,100 pieces of silver. There's nothing you can use to buy a woman in love. If a woman really loves a man, she will do everything within her power to see that man makes it in life. She will do everything. There is nothing anybody can say outside against that man that woman is going to reckon with. She's not going to take it to heart at all. But because there was no love there, because Delilah never loved Samson, it was so easy for her to be bought by the Philistines. It was so easy. So she just married Samson, just like a trap, just like another trap for her. Because there was never an iota of love. Every woman is powerful. Yes, every woman is powerful, either positively or negatively. Every woman when you see a woman like this, you are looking at power. It now depends on how that woman uses her own power. But like I said, if a woman is in love, she's positively powerful. Hallelujah. Now, there is another point here. When you are growing old, that is another point, looking at what are those things that can drain love. When you are growing old, and all you can think of is, hey, I must marry. All my friends are married. All my neighbors are married. I'm the only one that is left in the house. Marriage. Whoever comes, I marry him. Whoever comes, I marry her. When that is all that is going on in your mind, you are no longer considering, hey, I need to love this person and this person needs to love me. Or, she did this or that. Notwithstanding, at least she has decided, she has agreed to marry me, and that is all I want at this time. This man is this one. Hey, just by all I need is I must marry. Since he had decided to marry me, whatever we meet in the marriage, we will be struggling with it when we get there. That is it. You may discover that when you get there, love will be far, far away. So, when you are in a hurry to marry, when you are not giving room for love to grow, love is like a seed. It grows. And then lastly, God could be saying something. Be sensitive enough to hear him. God could be saying something. There could be something that God is saying. You need to be very, very sensitive for you to be able to hear him. We have come to the end of the first part of this message. Watch out for the second part.